I'm Anna Morgan, your career BFF, and I can't believe I am live today. Can you believe it? It's not IRL, but it's virtual, and we're here, and we're going to have a great conversation because I bet you are one of the people that has probably avoided a conversation so long that it blew up later. Yeah, me too. And my guest, Antoni, we're going to have a fantastic chat today about how to say the hard thing without being a jerk. So, this is EQ in action. So, I am thrilled to welcome my bow tie BFF, as I say, Antoni, to the stage. Welcome.
What's up, Anna? Thanks so
What's
much for
up?
having me.
I want to come back to Toronto and party with you crazy bold people sometime soon.
I love partying with you, Anna.
We had such a blast. How's everybody doing today? Say hello in the comments. We haven't gone live in a hot minute, so let us know that you're here. Say hello. And while we're doing that, I'd love to have Antoni introduce himself. He is, like many of us, that's had a squiggly career. And over to you, my friend.
Oh my gosh, where do I start? Well, I am currently a leadership and emotional intelligence coach that helps a lot of HR leaders help
Yay.
give people the skills so that they can flourish in their cultures, in their conversations, and most importantly, build on their emotional intelligence skills. And
Amazing.
I actually started off way back as a fashion designer and moved into the tech industry. I've been in the tech industry for 20 years, and I've gone through some major transformations from systems administrator to cloud engineer to DevOps engineer, cloud trainer, team coach. And eventually I became a public speaker, and I
Love
traveled
it.
the world talking about happiness in the workplace. And the thing that I was missing about happiness in the workplace was the fact that in order to get to happiness, we need to have human connection. And what
Mm.
better way to flourish your
Yes.
connections than with the skill of emotional intelligence, being able to talk to people, being able to read the room, being
Mhm.
able to pause for a minute and give someone a genuine compliment. How about that?
Yes, compliments are powerful. Actually, I'm going to go off on a tangent because at a conference out in Las Vegas recently, I think it was the second day, and everybody was like a little slapstick, silly, and kind of overtired. And there was a group of women talent leaders. I knew like one or two. But as I was in the circle, I walked up to one lady and I was like, I love your face. And she was just like, and everyone started cracking up, and they're like, this is the best icebreaker for a conference. You just walk up to someone and be like, I love your face. So I dare you to try it. It's definitely unconventional and a little rebel of me, but it worked.
I
So
love
it's
that.
all about kind of embracing that fun, inspired side of ourselves and not being afraid to go for it, in my humble opinion. So,
I love
uh,
it.
yeah. So let's say hello to Gregory. Hello, friends. We've got also Brooke in the house. Hey, friends. Thanks for being here. If you have any friends in the people leadership space that may want to level up their EQ skills, send them here. Share the link with them and let them know they can also catch the replay. So, as I made the post today, I had dealt with a toxic boss, and that was kind of mid early career. And I had no idea what EQ was, or that I might have an opportunity to improve my communication skills. So, in your own words, Antoni, can you just tell us like how you would even describe emotional intelligence?
Yeah, it's simply being able to manage your own emotions and manage others' emotions as well. It's
Beautiful.
that simple.
Okay. I love it. And I think a lot of people talk about, soft skills and EQ, and
Yeah.
we understand, leveraging EQ as a superpower where you can leverage structure and science and really make impact because you're saying the right words at the right time in the right way to accomplish the goals that you're trying to achieve, right?
Yes.
All right. So, what are some signs that you have noticed with your clients or in yourself that might indicate that you need an EQ upgrade or that the team that you're leading has some EQ challenges?
Oh
So,
my God, where do I start?
and
Well,
people like chime in the comments and let us know in your experience where you think either you or your teams or peers have an opportunity to level up in your EQ area.
I mean, and touching on the post that you did today about your toxic boss. I mean, you see, and I'm sure, you know, somebody can relate out there listening to this. Somebody who's passive aggressive, right? Sarcasm, snide comments. You have the other person who's blame shifting. Oh, it's not my fault. It was the other person's fault, or they throw them under the bus. Gossip and back channeling. Oh my gosh, how many times have we experienced that? Side conversations, stonewalling, emotional withdrawal, credit hoarding, spotlight stealing, emotional dumping.
Wow, wow, that
Oh,
that is
come
a
on.
lot. One of the first things you said definitely brought back a memory, a bit traumatic, but so true, where you end up finding yourself literally under the proverbial bus, and you're like,
Yeah.
"What just happened?" I even witnessed, one of the kind of hiring VPs kind of gossiping in the hallway. And I came out of the elevator at the wrong time and absolutely heard what was being said. And, my mouth just dropped to the floor. And I looked at the person and I had no words because
Yeah.
I didn't know how to have that difficult conversation. So, again, I love that we're having this conversation and being able to pay attention to those signals and signs. So, will you repeat those again for the audience one more time?
Yes. Passive aggressiveness,
Okay.
blame shifting, gossip and back channeling. So the side conversations that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
stonewalling or emotional withdrawal. So
Mm-hmm.
people who shut down or they pull back, um, silent treatment, if you will, credit hoarding or spotlight
Credit
stealing.
hoarding,
So taking
like
credit for other
taking
people's
credit for somebody else. Yeah.
yeah. And emotional dumping or drama spiraling. And this usually
Mm.
falls under um, the label of vulnerability. But
Mm.
instead of it being something to build people up, it
Mhm.
actually tears people down.
Okay.
And
Got it.
it's like, you walk out of those conversations, you're like, wow, that was a downer. Right?
Where I was like, in my crystals and I'd have to like wrap myself in a weighted blanket and dance under the moon to like clear the bad juju. Anyway, but look at me now.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
We can recover for sure. Hi G. Mwah. Thank you for being here.
Up,
Thank
G.
you, Martello, Gregory, everyone. So happy to see you. So we're getting into some good stuff here. So awareness is key. So that's kind of in my
Yes.
brain step one. So let's break down a little bit more that um, and remember, like, what I understand about EQ is not about shame or blame. And that was something that I really struggled with because anytime, you know, like I said in the post, I was reprimanded or, I took initiative, I was like slapped on the hand. So I had to really work through that. But you've recommended it's really about just like noticing the patterns
Yeah.
that are really sabotaging our opportunities, our trust, our connection, and ultimately organizations' culture. So I know you see this in coaching all the time and with your speaking that you do. So let's talk a little bit more about, let's say you've got leaders that are giving updates and
Yes.
it's not an open dialogue. So meetings feel more like lectures than conversations. How would you coach or guide folks to notice that shift from connection to control? Because we want connection, but where's that tipping point that goes too far where we have an opportunity to level up?
Yeah. So there's there's 3 simple power moves that I love to talk about.
All right. Power moves. If you have a pen or pencil, you want to write this down or
Yes.
come back to us a little bit later because these are some gems. Over to
So
you.
you want to master the art of making people feel seen. So if you
Okay.
want to build trust fast, this is your move. You want to
Okay.
mirror people's emotions.
Yeah.
You want to make it personal. So instead of jumping in to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about, maybe ask, hey, what's
Hmm.
on your mind? What do is there something that you wanted to talk about?
Right.
And then something that we always use in coaching is repeat back what you hear.
Hmm.
Because when you do that, you actually signal that you've been listening and the other person feels heard.
And that's
That's
literally
everything.
everything. Right.
That's
Um,
everything.
I think a lot of us, especially like Gen X and older, we grew up with like use the feedback sandwich, which is a
Oh my
little bit
god, yes.
overkill. So it's like compliment, critique, compliment, which sounds
No.
nice, but it's just avoidance dressed up with praise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, you would use those 3 power moves in that type of situation as well
Well,
in giving
that's
feedback.
one power move.
Oh, that's one power move. I'm so
Yes.
sorry.
That's okay.
ADD.
Number 2,
Number 2.
master reading the room.
Okay.
So, you wanna pay attention to people's tone.
Hmm.
Tight? Are they rushed? It tells you exactly where they're at. You wanna watch people's body language. Are they
Hmm.
leaning in and listening? Or are they have their arms crossed and feel, you know, resistant?
Yeah, or they won't look you in the eyes.
Yeah, and you wanna listen for hesitation. So
Mhm,
when someone says, "Yeah, that's good," and there's that pause there, that
mhm.
pause is where everything lives. It tells you
Yeah,
everything you need to know.
and I think as, like, a recruiter and salesperson or, like, when I'm doing intake calls with hiring teams, if I sense that, asking, "Is there anything else?" or, "What have we forgotten to talk about today?"
Yes.
That always goes a long way, especially in the recruitment process because that's a very fluid experience, and oftentimes, is constantly changing on priorities, who's involved, et cetera. So, all right. So we're up to power move 3. Is that right?
Yes, so power move 3 is master the pause. And this one I know everyone can relate to. So, who here has ever sent an email, a very angry email, and regretted it later?
Maybe. Although when I did get laid off from said toxic boss, I sat down and wrote just a brain dump of feelings in a
Yes.
Word document. And to release the like, uh, the behind it, I sent it to my husband and he goes running up the stairs. He's like, please tell me you did not send that. I'm like, that was a love letter for you, honey.
Yeah, and it's just like in the moment,
Yeah.
have you ever snapped at somebody only to feel awful afterwards?
Oh, yeah. It's called
Exactly.
parenting.
So, this is where mastering the pause can help so much. So um, we're reacting instead of responding, and we wanna
Mhm,
respond. We wanna respond uh, with intention. We wanna respond with kindness, and we
mhm,
wanna respond with the facts that matter.
mhm. Yeah. I through 12-step programs in recovery that I've been a part of, one of the kind of sayings or tools is always to, you know, exhibit restraint of pen and tongue when faced with a resentment or a tough situation, and give yourself 24 or 48 hours because inevitably you are going to feel differently about that situation as 24 or 48 hours have passed. So
That's
it's
always a
super
good rule.
simple, but people forget it. So when you feel your body being misregulated because of conflict, know that take a night to sleep on it, pick up the phone, call a mentor, talk through it. But then when you're in those situations, I agree. And as someone who's had pretty extensive sales training, the pause is absolutely powerful. And
Yeah,
it's also something critical for job seekers as well. When they finish a story, to stop and pay attention to the person that they're interviewing with. I always tell my coaching clients, you want the person on the other side of the screen to be nodding their head like you were just a second ago
exactly.
and being engaged and paying attention to that body language. So I love this. Amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Hi, Chase. Hi, Yarrow.
Now, for those who are looking for a tool that's in
Mhm.
the moment,
Yes.
here's what I can suggest. Get
Okay.
your guns ready. I
Get your
call
pens ready.
I so a lot of people talk about the sandwich that you were talking about.
Hmm.
So I have something that I call the clarity Oreo.
Oh, well, you're throwing a curveball. Well, actually, a Clarity Oreo at me. Let's go.
I
Throw
mean,
up some hearts if you like Oreos.
I wanted a tool that would stick into people's heads of
Okay.
what they can do. So the clarity Oreo starts like this. You want the top layer, which is be clear about the issue. Don't
Okay.
give the fluff. Okay.
Yes. Clarity.
The middle, you want to show that you care. So you want to acknowledge other people's perspective.
Okay.
And then you want to sandwich it with offering a solution. So we're looking forward, not looking back. We're looking
Right.
forward. How can we
Mhm.
solve this?
Right.
What does this sound like in a real conversation?
I
So
love to role play. Let's go.
doing a crappy job, you're always late. Get your shit together.
What? I didn't even
Right?
know I was supposed to come into the office.
So that's a horrible way to do things. Instead, using the clarity Oreo, you can say, "Hey, Anna, I've
Yeah.
noticed you've been late to some meetings this week. I just want to make sure that you're well supported. Is everything okay?"
No, I'm working 7,000 open positions and I need to hire 3 more sourcers. Thank you very much. Literally. But I'm not late to meetings. At least I try not to be. So,
No, but so this is something that every person can use, whether you're a leader, you're in HR, you're in tech, it doesn't matter.
mhm.
Using the clarity Oreo, you're being clear, you're being concise, you're being kind, and you're looking for a way forward.
I love it. If you all are loving what Antony's sharing with us today, you want to go check out thesmilingbowtie.com, subscribe to the newsletter because that is where you share amazing gems like this. Is that right?
That's right.
Perfect. Amazing. All right. So I wanted to just jump in a little bit with like the recruitment kind of TA lens, because I think EQ, as I mentioned kind of before we went live, plays into what we do as recruiters
Mhm.
every minute that we're in the
Yeah.
process. And that is observing the room, paying attention to body language, utilizing the pause. I'm missing one of your power moves in regards to talent.
No, no, you got that right.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
And then let's see, as far as, I mean, I do. I just think that we use EQ in all of those areas
Absolutely.
so that we can ensure the best fit. And when I start my calls, you had mentioned clarity is key around all of this.
And
So
clarity is
as
kind.
it is, and compassionate. And that also
Yes.
shows, I don't know, not all recruiters are created equally. We know that. But for me, starting the call with, this is who I am. I'm excited to talk with you. This is what you can expect. And the goal is to determine mutual fit and alignment and next steps. And by simply stating that boundary or foundation of the call, it accelerates that trust and connection so much faster than, holding my cards too close or being an ice princess recruiter, as I used to call them. The hiring managers were more like
Yes.
that I'd call on. So that's funny. All right. What are we forgetting to talk about? We talked about recruitment. We talked about people leaders and HR and how they can look for signs of improving EQ on their team. Let's see.
Well, I really wanted uh, to bring to the forefront
Hmm.
what it is about EQ that's so special.
Oh, I
Why does everyone think that EQ is the way?
yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you, IQ, as we all know, we're
Hmm.
born with,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we can't change that.
Hmm.
That's our genetics. That's our genetic makeup. Our
Right.
IQ is what we are born with. We can't get any smarter.
Hmm.
But with EQ,
Yeah.
that can actually be learned at any age, at any time. All
Okay.
we need to do is practice it. And
Perfect.
these skills, they're so under the EQI framework, which is something that I like to go by,
Hmm.
there are 15 emotional intelligence skills that are
Okay.
covered under 5 different domains. The domains being self-perception, which is with oneself,
Hmm.
self-expression, how you're expressing yourself to others,
Perfect.
interpersonal skills, which are how you're managing your emotions with others,
Right.
decision making, how you're making decisions when under things like stress or you're trying to problem solve.
Hmm.
When emotions get involved, it changes the way we make our decisions.
Hmm.
And finally, stress management.
Yeah.
So, how do we behave when emotions get involved under stress? A lot
Hmm.
of like that is my
Many of us just shut down and run the other way.
exactly. That right there is my weakness. So
I'm
under
like, I don't
stress,
like conflict. I
like
just
yeah.
sorry.
Um so those are the 5 domains that I like to look towards, and I follow. And then, like I said, there are 3 skills, emotional
Hmm.
intelligence skills under each domain, and
Beautiful.
all of them can be learned. Doesn't matter what age you are. You can be 80 years old and still learn these skills.
Amazing. So when you're, you know, practicing improving your communication and your EQ,
Yes.
um, I mean, how would you recommend? Because things are going to go sideways. And even when you're like, okay, I've got self awareness, I'm going to speak up for myself. I know to pause. I I have clarity around this topic, but then you can't control other people. We know that
Right.
in people leadership. So when it goes sideways, how do you encourage people to find that resilience and keep trying to be a better communicator in that regard?
Practice, practice, practice. And
Okay.
how we get to that is okay, here's a quick masterclass for you.
Okay.
So when you start the day and you fill your cup and you start to understand yourself, you start to become more confident, you're
Mhm.
courageous in the things that you do, and you feel strong in your being and in
Mhm.
your well-being.
Right.
You are able to control your emotions so much better when
Which
you
then
want
allows you.
to be assertive, when you want to have conversations, when people
Mhm.
snap at you, you're
Okay.
able to step back, be able to take a moment to pause,
Mhm.
say, "I'm sorry, but I don't respond to that type of
Yelling.
behavior
Mhm.
or not unkind words."
Mhm. Okay.
You can do that,
Yeah.
but you have to be stable enough in yourself to be able
Mhm.
to notice that.
Yeah.
So, some things to do is always keep up with your well-being and
Self-care.
practice these conversations with other people
And everywhere. I was just thinking, like,
everywhere.
in the corporate landscape, it could feel a little risky for people as they're starting out practicing. So my first thought was, hey, mothering. I'll try it out on my teenager, or with anyone that I'm working on a project around the house, or out in public, in community, at church, wherever it may be.
Yes.
Then that is part of what can help build that muscle that will fast track confidence for when then you're like, okay, I can do this. We're having that conversation again. I know
Yes.
how to do this.
Because
So,
your personal values and
mhm,
your boundaries, they don't change because of the person and the environment. They are
right.
they are they're in you. They
Hmm.
don't change.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
when you set the boundary, I'm sorry, if we start going down this road again, or if we are
Hmm.
discussing this again,
Hmm.
I will walk away or I will hang
Hmm.
up.
Yeah. No, I
And
get
you
it.
got to be able to pull the trigger to hang up on your boss. Yes, because
Hmm.
you need to put that boundary in place.
Hmm.
It may seem rude, but it's not,
Yeah.
because you've
Yeah.
already if you have said to your boss, to your manager, "I don't
Hmm.
appreciate being talked that way. I don't
Hmm.
appreciate being talked to that way. I don't
Hmm.
appreciate the way that you do this in front of others.
Hmm.
Belittle me. And here is why. And if you do that again, this is what I'm going to do."
Yeah.
Naturally, they're gonna, go to lengths to try to remove you because they feel threatened. But at the same time, it's like, wh- where do your values stand? Would you
Hmm.
rather be trampled on at work?
No,
Or
thank
would
you.
you rather stand up for who you are, what you
Hmm.
believe in, and your boundaries, showing others the respect that you not only have for yourself, but you have
Hmm.
for them?
Yeah.
Because when
I
other
like what,
people respect you,
yeah.
you in turn respect them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like what Yaro said, external success is an inside job.
Yes.
Absolutely. I was thinking again back to like the TA recruiter side, and hard conversations happen all the time where we are given information from a hiring manager that could be discriminatory, and how to coach hiring managers on, interview panel best practices, and how to not insult them and being like, you're being a racist bias bigot, and I can't work this rec for you, but how do I say I'm going to source the most qualified candidate for you regardless of age, gender, and race? It was simply a statement I would say like that, and they would go, oh, okay. And then really building that trust and asking the right questions to get the honest feedback from the hiring manager and or the candidate, right? Because that's critical as well. And then the last thing where I think EQ is so important in the work that we do is feedback, and being
Yes.
able to give the feedback, whether it's the Oreo way or using your 3 power moves. It is helping someone go from, experiencing rejection to feeling completely respected. And that is memorable and sticks with people. In fact, I had an old candidate literally from, I want to say, 2010 to 2014 that showed up in a comment recently saying, I don't know if you remember this, but I was a candidate of yours and you encouraged me to pursue my dream of HR and to keep trying to pivot out of accounting. And I guess I had given her some tips. I was coaching before I even was a coach. Um, and she said that conversation was so powerful. And she has now progressed and been promoted in HR leadership. And just the ripple effect of conversations like that, whether it's rejection or coaching, is so powerful. And we use that EQ in all of those decisions and guidance, in my opinion. So
For sure, for sure.
awesome.
And like I said, it doesn't just end there.
Hmm.
EQ follows you throughout your life, wherever you are, at any time. You could
Got
be
it.
at a convenience store, you could be on vacation, you could be in the workplace, in a boardroom, working with some colleagues on a project. Doesn't matter. It's there. It's always there.
I love it. So can you give us the secret info on the bow tie effect? Or have we essentially covered some of that in this conversation? But I think this is a great example of, how we can all use the bow tie effect to level up.
It's funny. I've never brought up the bow tie effect ever. So this is I guess you could say a world premiere.
The world premiere with
Of the
your
bow tie
career
effect.
BFF. All
Um,
right, what is the bow tie effect?
so for those of you who don't know, the bow tie effect came from Bow Tie Wednesday. Today being Wednesday, I'm wearing the bow tie.
I love it.
Here's the story behind it. So it started off in a basement. I was
Mm.
working in an IT department that was located in the basement, and it was gloomy. It was just so dreary, and nobody wanted to be there. And you'd look at other people, they didn't want to be there too.
Yeah.
And after a couple of months, I was done. I was like, something has to change.
Mm-hmm.
So I did what any normal person would do. That Tuesday night, I went for retail therapy. So I went down the street to the local Marshalls, and as I walked down the aisle, I noticed this bow tie at the corner of my eye. It was a green check bow tie, and it made
Oh.
me smile for the first time in a long time. So naturally, I bought it, and I went home that night, and I said, I'm going to wear this bow tie tomorrow to bring a little bit of light into my life at work. So there I was that Wednesday morning, bow tie on, big smile on my face. And I walk in, and the first person to walk up to me said, Hey, Antoni, what's with the bow tie? I said, I don't know. It just made me feel good. How does it make you
Yeah.
feel? She said, I love it. I think it's great. And that whole day, everyone was asking me, what's with the bow tie? And I had the same response. And I noticed that at the end of the day, that the light, the aura of the department started to lift, and it started to become lighter. It started to become a place where I actually wanted to work. So I said then and there that every Wednesday I would wear a bow tie to keep the momentum of this beautiful, harmonious thing that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing it every Wednesday. Every Wednesday I would come in with a bow tie, and something incredible happened. Over the course of a few months, other people started wearing bow ties as well, and people were dressing up. The whole environment changed, and
You're so powerful. I love it.
it was just because of that ripple effect.
Yeah.
And so for the past, I don't know, decade, I've been wearing
Mm-hmm.
this bow tie to commemorate the idea of connection and happiness in the workplace.
I
Now,
love it.
the bow tie effect is the ripple that starts when one small act of authenticity creates a real human connection.
That's what it is all about.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. Say that again.
for me, it began with a bow tie, and
Mm-hmm.
not because I was a fashion designer or anything.
I for some reason thought you were like always a bow tie guy. And so I
Yeah,
feel so privileged to be able to hear this story. Thank
yeah.
you.
So, um, I didn't wear it because it was fashionable. I wore it because it felt like me. It brought a little piece of joy in my
Mm-hmm.
life. And so the moment I started wearing it, something happened. And
Mm-hmm.
people would not just stop me, smile, and ask questions at work. This would
Mm-hmm.
be like on the streetcar, walking down the street.
Sure.
And it not only gave people a moment where people would stop and smile, but it
Mhm.
would allow connection where we can now share stories. Total
Mm.
strangers became connections because of it. And I
Mm.
realized that the bow tie was just a bridge. It was
Mhm.
a bridge to connection.
Yeah.
And so it's what happens when you show up with honesty, some courage, and a lot of heart,
I love
right?
it.
It
Yeah.
tells others that it's safe to be yourself.
Yes.
When
And
people
I
feel safe,
wholehearted
they want to
sorry, go ahead.
and when they connect, they trust. So, and that's when everything gets better. Communication, collaboration, creativity, culture, the whole shebang. And
Mm.
the bow tie is just the spark,
Yeah.
but the real magic is what it unlocks between us and within us.
Yeah. That relatability and the ease of conversation through something as basic as a bow tie or a funky hairstyle
Yeah.
or, you know, a recognizable conference outfit or these earrings. I mean, I can't tell you how many compliments I get from everyone about these. And I love them like you loved how you felt wearing the bow tie and the interactions from it, the same thing. So I feel like that's a similar example to what you experienced. But Antoni, that is a beautiful, powerful story. And I hope it inspires some of the people that attended today and those catching the replay. So I think we're coming up on time. I certainly want to be conscientious of everyone's, lunch breaks wherever you are in the world, if this is lunchtime.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, whew, so much good stuff. We talked about how to say hard things without being a jerk, how to read the room and ourselves. Like, I'm a huge champion of radical honesty with self. And then we shared some examples of what happens when we operate or teams operate, without EQ. And that's not so pretty.
No, not so
Um,
pretty.
yeah, but I know Antoni feels the same way. And we hope today that we gave you permission to pause, to reflect, and show up more human at work because that's where emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence is humanity in action. So let us know what you think about today. I definitely recommend checking out uh, Antoni's newsletter and website, smilingbowtie.com. And then you have to stay tuned for continued transformations and evolutions that are happening over here at Career BFF. I hope I can get you to come to Atlanta in
Yes.
January to share more about the bow tie effect, emotional intelligence, and modern day leadership. So, if you haven't marked your calendar already, January 29th and 30th here in Atlanta, it is going to be primarily IRL, but I hope to have some virtual options as well. So you can find the wait list on my profile or just copy and paste that there and stay in the know of all things Evolve 2026. So I'm
And who
excited.
knows, I might just be there.
You will be there. I mean, although, last night I started thinking, trying to put together like the themes and pillars and like workshops in 2 days. And I was like, I need to sleep on this for 24 hours, 48 hours. So, doing lots of research. And I love that you're sparking conversations with HR leaders and talent leaders about the challenges that they're facing today.
Yeah.
So, if you've been intrigued about EQ today, definitely set up a connection call with Antoni. He's got some great questions to really, get into what we as talent and people leaders are facing in the workforce today. So, what a great day.
I know. I know. We gotta do this more often.
And
Like,
I have to tell you, I did try to see if I could find a cool lady bow tie, but I wasn't able to make it happen. So next time we go live, I'll be sporting a cool bow tie with my evolved earrings.
We got to do this again,
Goodness.
Anna.
All
Definitely.
right. Well, I know Yarrow will be there. I'm trying to get Gregory to come. Maybe he'll be on virtual. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Definitely share a little bit of what you learned today in a post that's being a career BFF to others, and tag us and let us know. And if we can be a career BFF to you in any way, I know we are both all about elevating this industry and learning together. So don't hesitate to reach out. I hope this conversation was as igniting for you all as it was for me. Thank you, Antoni, for sharing your wisdom and your expertise and
I
the
appreciate you.
premiere of the bow tie effect on
The bow tie
LinkedIn Live.
effect.
I love it. I love it. You've built such an amazing brand, and have had such a whirlwind of a career that continues. But I feel like you have such a great heart to continue leading people in our space around this topic. So certainly appreciate all you do, and can't wait to have you back again at some point. Okay.
Thank you so much, Anna. I appreciate you.
All right. Send us out with either like your favorite quote or something that you really want people to hold with them as they go and finish out the rest of the week.
Well, my favorite quote is by Maya Angelou, and that is, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So whatever you do today, tomorrow, maybe this week, try having a conversation and thinking about, how am I going to make this other person feel? And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you're at work, at a coffee shop, at home. Think about the other person for a second
Mm-hmm.
and maybe spark some happiness, spark some emotion in them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I hope you have a fantastic day on purpose. I hope you are having an amazing day. How has your day been? I'd love to hear all the highlights of your day.
Mm-hmm.
These are
Yeah.
the things, these are the questions that get people riled up, that get people excited, that
Mm-hmm.
have people hear and feel that someone else actually cares. And this is the key to connection.
Absolutely.
So make people
Absolutely.
feel something.
I know. And it just takes that awareness, right, that we talked about. So
Yeah.
we have been fabulous career BFFs to the LinkedIn community today. And I'm so grateful for everyone that joined. Ring the bell on Antoni's profile and my profile to stay in the loop of all the great things that we are doing and projects that we're working on. And again, just so grateful for the time and everyone that showed up. So thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for watching. Ring the bell and follow Career BFF and Anna Morgan for updates. Share your favorite career tip from today and tag us. Grab